Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm your host, Raylene Marks, with today's top stories. The Israeli Air Force have attacked naval targets just off the coast of the Gaza Strip in response to rocket fire fired from the Gaza Strip into southern Israel in the early hours of this morning. Rocket fire set off the code red, or Tseva Adom, sending the civilians that are closest to the Gaza Strip scurrying to their shelters, and they have just 15 seconds to do so. And this comes, this is the latest in a series of escalations where Hamas have threatened to explode violence on Israel if Israel does not meet its demands to increase the supply of electricity to the Strip, or to let in funds from Qatar, which they say they will distribute to impoverished families. Now, we know from past situations, Hamas do not distribute funds. They keep those funds for themselves, while many in the Gaza Strip are living in intolerable conditions. And I just, while we're on the subject, want you to take a moment and think about civilians on both sides. I ask you to think about the civilians in the Gaza Strip who are held hostage by Hamas and other terror entities, and civilians on the other side of the border. These are Israel civilians who live in towns like Sderot, where they have only 15 seconds to seek shelter when the code red siren goes off. And just think about what you can do in 15 seconds. Think about the parents who have to make a dash for multiple children, or the elderly, or the disabled, or animals that you have to get to much needed shelter. And this has been the situation since Israel pulled out of the Gaza Strip in 2005. It's an absolute untenable situation, and as Prime Minister Netanyahu mentioned earlier this week, just because we are in an election cycle and we're getting closer and closer to election day, it doesn't mean we're going to rule out a possible military incursion. In international news, President Rivlin has waded into yesterday's controversial comments made by US President Donald Trump about the disloyalty of Jews in America. In his comments, he said that Jews who voted for the Democratic Party were either disloyal or unknowledgeable. He has since defended his comments by saying that what he meant were Jews who voted Democratic Party are disloyal to the state of Israel. And of course, this has set off a lot of controversy, both in the mainstream media and on social media, where people have been giving their opinions to and fro. But last night, President Rivlin had a conversation with Nancy Pelosi, the leader of the Democratic Party, where he reiterated that Israel's relationship with the United States transcends political parties. It is not bipartisan. He quoted from the late President John F. Kennedy, where he said that the relationship between the two countries is a national commitment. It is much bigger than politics. And he said that the state of Israel has to be above politics, and also thanked the Democratic Party for their support of the state of Israel. And we are confident that Israel and America will weather this temporary storm, and that the relationship between the two countries will be absolutely unshakable. And in other exciting news, Israel says Bruchim Habaim to Amazon. The giant has officially been launched in Israel, which is very good news for Israeli sellers, because it introduces the international market to the awesome and creative products that we have here in Israel, and it also introduces Israeli sellers to the international market. So get your credit cards out. You will now be able to shop through Amazon in Israel, and if you don't want to do it in English, you can do it in Hebrew. So this is an epic BDS fail, as tech giant Amazon realized that the smart people shop in Israel. Now, if you want to read more that is written by other smart people, you can visit our website at www.layoftheland.online. You can peruse all our articles. We are almost a year old, and if you visit us month by month online, you can check out some of our content. Also, where in Israel will we be for tomorrow's Shabbat greeting? I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to go there and find out by yourself. And while you're there, if you haven't already, like us, follow us, and invite your friends to do the same. And if you have an addiction to the Israel Brief, like some may have, you can find us on YouTube at the Israel Brief, where you can subscribe to receive your daily edition of the Israel Brief. I'm Rolene Marks, wishing you all a wonderful and restful weekend, and Shabbat Shalom, and we'll speak again on Monday.